Hi, you guys. Welcome back for our daily practice questions. It is day 255, and as always, I like to first start with my introduction and disclaimer before getting started with our questions for today. So, for those of you who are familiar with me, hey y'all. For those of you who are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Brittany Weinstock, a family nurse practitioner and the founder and CEO of the Nursing Studio. I provide resources, tools, review courses, review videos, review books, digital flashcards, Q-banks, one-on-one sessions, and more to assist nurses as well as nurse practitioners with success on their boards as well as in practice. I've been doing this since 2015, assisting nurses and nurse practitioners internationally with exam success. But y'all know my disclaimer and reminder is that we know there's no absolutes in medicine. We treat on a patient by patient basis, and any of the questions that you see here, I have designed and created based on the current guidelines that are being tested on the ANCC as well as AANP exam. Now, any of my videos where I'm teaching on things that we currently do in practice, I will always say that so there's no confusion. So, with that being said, let's get into question number one for today. But before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're not missing any of my videos. And if you would like to gain access to my MP Test Success Toolkit, it is free and linked in the description. My website is also linked in the description and houses all of the resources that I do offer. And I also always like to mention, if you're looking for a one-stop location of my business profile, simply go to Google and search The Nursing Studio. It will bring you here where you can find my contact phone number, the link to my website, and testimonials from previous review students. All right, y'all. Question number one. A 22-year-old college student presents with dark urine, nausea, and right upper quadrant pain. Lab serology shows an HBsAg is positive, an HBeAg is positive, an anti-HBc IgM is positive, and an anti-HBs is negative. What is the interpretation? Is it A, an acute infection with high infectivity? Is it B, a chronic infection? Is it C, immunity from vaccination? Or is it D, a past resolved infection? Take a moment and tell me what you got in the comments, y'all. All right, I always recommend reading the stem of the question first, as it allows you to slow down to ensure you're answering what is being asked of you. So here, the stem of the question states, what is the interpretation? What is the diagnosis? Same concept. So you want to make sure that you run it back and take a look at those assessment findings. So here with the assessment findings, we see that we have a 22-year-old that comes in with dark urine, nausea, and right upper quadrant pain. And then we need to take a look at this hepatitis B serology panel, right? So the HBsAg is positive, so we know that they are infected, right? The HBeAg is positive as well. I'm going to come back to that. Give me 1 second. The anti-HBc, which is your core, IgM, is positive, meaning it's an acute infection, right? Remember, we talked about this on yesterday's video. An acute infection when the IgM is positive. That falls under your core. So when they tell you the core is positive, that just means you need to take a look at the IgG and the IgM and see which one of those are positive. So here, IgM being positive makes it acute. So now let's go back up to the HBeAg. This is positive, and this talks about viral replication, right? So if the HBeAg is positive, that means that they're highly contagious, infected. So they have high infectivity, right? So the best answer is A. We have an acute infection with high infectivity. Question number 2. A 48-year-old man is being evaluated for fatigue and mildly elevated ALT on routine labs. Serology shows an HBsAg is positive for 8 months documented. An anti-HBc Ig is positive, and the anti-HBs is negative. What does this indicate? Is it a acute infection, B, a chronic infection, C, a resolved infection, or D, immunity due to vaccination? Take a moment and tell me what you got, y'all. All right, stem of the question, what does this indicate? So we have a 48-year-old man. He has a mildly elevated ALT. Serology shows HBsAg is positive, so we know that you have the infection, right? And then the anti-HBc, your core IgG, is positive. Remember, IgG is chronic. IgM is acute. So this lets you know that they have a chronic infection. And lastly, question number 3. A 35-year-old nurse is screened before starting a new job. She has no prior history of hepatitis B infection, and the serology shows an HBsAg is negative, an anti-HBC is negative, anti-HBs is positive. What does this indicate? Is it A, acute infection, B, a chronic infection, C, immunity due to past infection, or D, immunity due to vaccination? Take a moment and tell me what you got, y'all. All right. Stem of the question. What does this indicate? So again, we have a 35-year-old nurse. She's coming in. She's being screened for a job. No prior history of hepatitis B infection. The surface antigen is negative, which is your HBsAg. The anti-HBC, your core, is also negative. The anti-HBs, that shows she has antibody, is positive. So that lets you know the answer is D. She has immunity due to previous vaccination. If it would have been from infection, then we would have had positive anti-HBC. The core would have been positive too. But anti-HBs is positive. Everything else is negative. This is due to vaccination. All right, y'all. I hope you'll find this helpful. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with whoever you may think may find this beneficial as well. But y'all know what to do. Y'all make sure y'all meet me back here. And if you need any of the resources that I do offer, as always, feel free to reach out to the nursing studio by giving us a call. You can shoot a text message to this number or shoot us an email. And as always, everything that I offer is linked in the bio of this channel, including my website. And as I mentioned previously, my website is also linked in the description of this video. All right, y'all. Y'all know what to do. Y'all make sure y'all meet me back here. Happy studying. Bye, y'all.